Hello again, everybody, and welcome back. Boyd here with you. This is part two and will be the finale of our 172 scale Type 7C German U-Boat kit by Revell, Germany that we've been working on. In our last video, part one, we left off with we were working on the hull and doing some painting on this. We've been showing some really nice weathering detail effects that we've been adding to the model, and you can see we're making some pretty good progress here since the last video. We've been adding some of the detail onto the upper hull now. You can see we've got our net cutting system in place, and we've started doing some of the rigging here. We've got the rigging from the front to the rear, and we basically started off here at the rear with the kit supplied string and went through the holes there at the rear from the inside and out by tying a knot and then slipping that thread through there with about a 3 or 4 foot length. And then we just started working our way forward. Everywhere it's attached, we used a little drop of CA glue to hold it in place and help keep it nice and tight. And then we worked our way all the way forward here and got it all done. So that turned out really nice. Now here on our deck gun, you can see that we've got all that nice detail there around the perimeter where the 4 crewmen positions are, those kind of U-shaped things. I'll mention that those, again, were completely missing or broken. The parts were from the model kit, so those are all handmade with magnet wire again. And I'm really pleased at how it turned out. I spent several hours working on that. And you can see there in the shot we've also added the rope that goes around the muzzle of the barrel, which I thought is really interesting. Some of you submarine guys will already know this, but those of you that don't, they would actually have a cork in the end of the barrel there, and when a cap over it actually, and when they submerged, that had to be in place so they didn't get seawater or debris inside the barrel or the breech of the gun. And that rope would actually hold that cap in place on there. And so the first responsibility that the gun crew had when they surfaced was to get out there and pull that cork and clear the gun and make sure it was ready to be operated and fired. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Here you can see at the rear of the conning tower we also have the anti-aircraft gun in place there. And again, we had to build that whole cage assembly around there using magnet wire, which again, it's not totally perfect, but it looks a whole lot better than not having one on there at all. And those parts were completely broken and destroyed in the model kit as well. Here you can see we've added some detail on the interior of the conning tower now. It's pretty much all done. So we've only got a few little detail parts left to do on this model. We also we showed a little demonstration the other day on our Model Shop Guys show of installing these handrails here. I basically took a micro pin vise with a really tiny drill bit and drilled those holes out to the same diameter into the deck. And so these railings were able to slightly drop down in there and be glued in place rather than just sitting straight on top, where they wouldn't have much strength. And now they're much stronger, and they look really nice sitting on there. They should hold up really, really well. Here you can see some more detail on the bottom. We've got our limber holes all opened up like we talked about before. And so today we're going to be just doing a little bit of detail work on this. Left to do, we've got some little covers that go on our engine exhausts here. We've got some lanyards that go on the top of the decking here that have some nice wood detail, kind of grappling hook kind of things that they had one fore and aft. We also have the handrails, the small handrails that need to go onto the conning tower, and then a few other little tiny things here and there. We've got the cage that needs there's a sort of a triangle shaped cage that goes on the bottom of the hull here to protect the propellers and propeller shafts. We've got to install that, and then this is going to be pretty much done. You can see here that we've got our little laughing sawfish logos there on the sides of the conning tower as well. That was the ones that were used in the movie Das Boot. Those are actually from the original historical U-96 U-boat, which belonged to the 107th Flotilla Group. Very famous submarine, had a lot of kills in the war and sunk a lot of ships. And actually, in reality, that sawfish in the original version was green with white borders around it. But for the movie, for Das Boot, which was supposed to depict the U-96, they changed that logo to black. So we have those installed there, and I really like that. We did some worn and weathering look on those as well. Here you can see our detail at our bow and everything. And she came out really great, guys. For my first U-boat ever, I'm really pleased with how this is looking. And we've got another kit. We've got the Atlantic 41 version, and we're working on getting a hold of a Gato American submarine too in 172 scale. So that'll be really cool. We'll have a nice little submarine display. They've also got the Revell Type 9 U-boat kit out, which is currently in production. So I'm going to get one of those while they're still in production, and the price before the prices skyrocket and the kit becomes hard to find. But we'll show you those being built up at a later date here on the channel. But let's get to work now. I'm going to set the camera on the bench. We're going to come back here in just a minute, and we're going to start adding the rest of our small little detail parts, and we'll take you right on through to the finale of this one, guys. So sit back and enjoy. We'll be right back in a second. Okay, here we are on the bench with our U-boat kit, and we're getting ready to add some more details onto the sides of the conning tower area. We're going to add these small handrail parts on, and so I've got some tools here ready to go. Firstly, I've got a toothpick that I've shaved the tip down really nice and fine so that I can dip that in my puddle of glue here and just apply it in these little sockets on the sides of the model where our hand railing goes to keep that glue point really precise. We're going to be using just some regular standard tester's glue. I've got my pair of tweezers here also to help me install some of these parts that are hard to handle. So let's get you a little bit closer here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and make a little puddle of glue, and we're going to do this lower handrail section here first. And what I'm just going to do is use my toothpick here to lightly dab a little bit of glue in each socket here. Just to get a nice glue joint on this. And hopefully when we put it on, we don't shake around a whole lot and things like that and move our glue around too much. Okay, here we go. This first big one here, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on with my hand. I'm going to have to be really steady and kind of brace it on the model here, but I'm going to go for this first rung and just start working my way back. Oh, we did good. Not bad at all. This first one just jumped out of its hole. This glue will start taking effect pretty quick here, and it's already locking itself down real nice. As you can see there, we're a little bit different color. Like I mentioned, we sprayed that with a medium gray, which was just the original color that this conning tower started off, but up with all of our layers of weathering and everything, it just got a little darker and darker and darker, and you can see we blended all these colors in. So we'll be going back with a brush and kind of highlighting over this with some darker paints, and then doing some weathering with our oils, doing a little bit of rust spots on the contact points where we see the hull contact in the hand railing there, leave little rust streaks down there. So we'll be doing that. We'll show you how we do that in just a little bit. So let's go to our next ones here, which are going to be these. There's two small ones which are right above and below that main one. So let's start with doing those. This time I'll be using my tweezers, and this time I'm just going to be reaching in there really carefully and just kind of sticking them on with my tweezers and then backing away, and hopefully we get a nice set our first attempt so we don't have to try to move it again. Going for the lower one here first. My puddle of glue has already started to dry up on me a little bit, so I'm going to get some fresh stuff here. Okay, I think we'll be all right with that. And we're going to grab our tweezers here and grab one of these little parts. And they're squirrely little things. They want to jump right out of your hand here with the tweezers, so I'm being really careful. If I pinch them too much, it'll just shoot them out of there. If they land somewhere, I'll never find them. So here we go. All right, we've got that one set. I'm just going to touch it and try to keep it straight and make sure it's pushed down all the way. There we go. Looks nice and straight and set in there really well. So let's try our very uppermost one here. A couple more dabs of fresh glue. All right, that's looking good and ready to go. Let's try this again. These little handrails here and steps have they're curved a certain way. They're kind of swept backwards, so we're making sure that we're putting them on the right direction here as well. Okay, we've got that one set. Now time to press it in again. Very good. We'll just kind of look at them from the front here and make sure they're straight. Looks like this one here needs to be raised up just a little bit. And the bottom one down just a little bit. Very nice. They look really good. Okay, and then we've got one up here at the very top towards the upper edge here that's a 3-holer. So we're going to get that one ready to go here as well. It's got a certain angle to it that it needs to sit at, so we'll make sure we do that right. One last puddle of fresh glue here. All right. And carefully get a hold of this thing and go for a placement. Very good. We went right into the holes right away, and looks like it just needs to be raised up just a little bit, and it's nice and straight. So that's good. Okay, and you can see in that shot there, guys, that really brings our model to life even a lot more. These fine little detail parts, adding them on. That really looks nice. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to set up some paint here. We're going to come back and we're going to start doing our weathering and blending in these railings like we talked about. I want to give them just a few minutes for those to dry and set up a little bit. And then we're going to work on the cage area, the final part here on the bottom of the sub. I've already got that installed, but we're going to do some weathering on that as well. And then we should be pretty well getting in towards the end of this one, guys. A few more little details here and there, but you're going to get to see the end of this here pretty shortly. So I'll be back with the paint set up and some more weathering stuff to do on this. All right, everybody, well, it's time to add some more paint detail onto the model now. We've had our little handrails drying for a little bit, and we're going to do our final paint detailing on this and show you a little bit more of these pretty cool weathering techniques we've been using, guys. I'm going to start off with my dark gray here, and I'm just going to start touching up these railings. And I'm using sort of a little bit of a dry brushing technique here. I'm not trying to paint them perfect. I just want to dab my dark colors on them here and there. That way we can simulate a little bit of chipping and stuff that's going on these things with the lighter colors and stuff. And then we'll be coming back and adding some rust detail on this where the weld marks where they touch on the hull, which will make it look really cool. Just going around here and there, having some fun with it. want those rails to contrast just a little bit because we want them to be visible. There's some nice detail there. So okay, we've got a nice little dark coating on those. We've got the upper one here we've got to touch up. And just kind of go around any more spots we want to hit here. Looks good. I really like that. Blended it right in. And now we're going to take a little bit of our oil here and this burnt sienna color, which is my main color I'm using for most of the rust work on this thing. We're just going to make a little puddle here. And just to start dabbing this on really carefully. We want to start off with just a small little dab. Anywhere we want to make contact on that hull there, on the upper and lowers. Then we'll touch this up with a little bit of water mixed in with this, and it'll spread it out just a little bit and make it look like it's giving that nice running effect that we're seeing on the rest of the model here. That really, really works good, guys. Okay. Notice here in this shot too that we added this little piece of hand railing on here. We just used a little bit of this magnet wire and we stretched it out and we super glued it on the back sides. You can notice that I made the little turnbuckles there too. They were missing from the kit again. So I just folded the wire over in a couple spots and then dabbed a little bit of CA on there, and it gives a nice look of those little turnbuckles on there. And we're just been touching that up as well here with a little bit of paint and a little bit of rust. That looks really, really authentic. I really like that. Okay, we're going to change brushes here real quick. And we're going to go to our water now, which I'll bring over here, and we're going to just dab on these little areas that we did the rust on. And just kind of break it down just a little bit to where it gives that look of being spread out around that hole a little bit and soaking into the paint. And that just adds so much, guys. I really can't say enough about that. That's so cool. I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can see that here. Now you can see we've got that nice detail. Now we're going to take and dab a little bit of this burnt sienna on the rails themselves here and there. And a little bit here on the steps. And some on this upper one here. Okay, going back to our water now, and we'll just kind of spread this out a little bit on this top one here to get that streaking action. Beautiful, guys, just beautiful. Boy, did that ever make that look nice. Really like that. Just dabbing a little here and there now that I've got it sort of runny and making it stain wherever I want to here. Okay, now that looks good, guys. So we've got our railing all done on that side. We're going to repeat the same process over on the other side over there, and we've got a couple more little things to do here, and then we'll show you our final result here, guys. We're going to be weathering one little spot on the bottom of the hull here, which we'll show you that here, and then we'll be pretty much done with this model, everybody. So I'm really, really pleased, and hang on, guys. We'll be right back and show you the final on this thing. All right, my friends, we're back with you for the final segment of our 172 scale Type 7C WolfPack German U-Boat kit build. We had a great time working on this model. I hope you guys enjoyed our little video series here. It wasn't a very long one, but we showed you most of the highlights of the buildup on this model. We had a great time working on it. Before I go any further, I want to say a big shout out to VII C CCMA, who's got a great YouTube channel out there for building military models. We used a lot of his tips when we started out on this and some of the other areas, especially opening up the limber holes on the model, and that really added a lot of realism to this. Let's take a look at the model all finished up now, guys, and you can see that we came to you today and started on our detail of our conning tower, adding on the handrails there, and you can see we've got those all in place now, and they came out really nice. We did all of our paint blending in and weathering effects on those, and they all fit in really nice, and that worked out great. You can see we also did the little handrails here on the sides of the deck. And then you can see here we've got our deck gun where we had to do a lot of that repair. We had some challenges to overcome on this model. Again, talking about some broken and missing parts, but we used some magnet wire and brought that detail back with these gun mount crew positions here, and also at the cage at the back here on the conning tower. And it came out really great and saved us from having to get another model kit basically to have those parts. So we're really happy with that. Sometimes those challenges can be fun. Here you can see where we've got all the limber holes opened up again, going from Wet Willie's tip there on using that grinding tool to open these up from the back side. And that turned out nice. You can see here we added the lanyards on the deck on the front and rear and made those look like wood, and that came out really nice. We've also got our engine covers on here, our exhaust covers with the stains there coming out of those from the diesel engines. And I just can't say enough how much I love this model. I really had a fun time working on it. I've always been a big fan of U-boats, and we really wanted to do a nice job and have fun doing those weathering techniques, something we've never tried before. Again, talking about when you build these things, guys, you can go from shipyard pristine condition to like severely weathered. We kind of went for a happy medium here. We went kind of in the middle, and we'll just call this one the return from the long patrol. It's been out there for several months battling the elements, and you can see too we added these little pennants here that they would display when they would return to the harbor, showing if they got any kills or had sunk any ships or what their battle action was. So we put that on there to add that little detail, and I'm really happy. Let's have a look at the other side here, and you can see our nice rusty anchor there, again using some of our oil-based paints here and brushing that on, and just doing a wet dry brushing technique on this, and it really came out great, guys. There you can see we've got our laughing sawfish, which they had on the U-96 for the movie Das Boot on the side of the conning tower. I think that's great. Again, talking about how they really had that on there on the real U-96, but it was a little bit different color, and so we thought that looked pretty cool. And we've got another little emblem there at the front of the conning tower that you can see, if I can get in between here for the shot. And all of our rigging in place. I'm really pleased with this, guys. It's kind of one of those things where you can just sit here and stare at it and imagine it being out on the water, attacking and diving and just all the action. Like I said, I'm a really big fan of U-boats, and we had a great time with this. It was a blast working on it, so we hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll show you here that we've got behind this one, we've got another U-boat kit that you'll see in the future on the channel being built up here. This is the Atlantic 1941 version of the Type 7C. This kit's even more rare than the other one here. It's very, very hard to find. The main difference in this kit is that it has the increased gun positions on there. I believe it has 3 anti-aircraft guns at the rear, as well as the main deck gun, and a little bit different here at the nose. But other than that, it's a really cool model as well. We're also looking around for a 172 scale Gato class American sub from World War II, which is also a really cool design. So if we find one of those, we'll build that up on the channel for you as well, guys. And we'll have a nice little collection of 172 scale subs. And like I said, I've always been a fan of submarines. I kind of thought of them as the starships of the sea, if you want to call it that. They were kind of out there on their own, and it was just great, great part of history. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build-up, guys. We had a great time, like I said, working on it. We'll be back here again on the channel really soon with some more action. On this channel, we are different from Sci-Fi Model Action, where we build up all kinds of other models besides Sci-Fi. So we've got that beautiful Spitfire kit we showed you guys a while back that we'll be starting work on again here on the channel very soon, too. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And until we see you next time, happy modeling, everyone.